All right, we are live. So today I am going to be talking about creating how we can create state diagrams with this domain-specific language for creating diagrams called PlantUML. So story time. I am taking this graduate course in knowledge-based artificial intelligence and cognitive systems. And one of my assignments was to create a full state diagram of the search space that a goal-oriented agent would traverse in order to find a goal state, right? And when I saw this assignment, the first thing that came to mind for me is, I got cool, I'll open up, draw.io and or diagrams.net, different names, same product, and I'll get some boxes and some circles and some lines together, and I'll draw my state diagram that way. Listen, I only needed to do one state transition in order for me to start looking elsewhere, because let's just say it was not fun. All right. Too much formatting going on. It just wasn't a good time trying to create a state diagram. And worse, it was that terrible for one state transition. But this problem, after I went through with PlantUML to create it, ended up having something like 27 states over, I don't know, something like 6 or 7 layers of the search tree. No way I would have painstakingly gone through all of this. Oh, I gotta copy and paste that one, put that there, copy and paste that one, put that there, draw the line from here, deal with like some of the weird line drawing things that happen, and just no. So fortunately, one of my classmates dropped a link to a resource called Plant Text, which is over here, that's meant for drawing. It uses PlantUML to draw different types of UML diagrams, right? If we look over here, we can see some of what's possible. We can do sequence, use case, timing, state deployment, whatever diagrams, and there's some extra stuff in there. Cool. The only one I was interested in was this state diagram. So I went through and I played around with it to kind of figure out what the syntax was for what I needed to come up with. So I'm going to show maybe 1 or 2 state transitions here for a problem. So one of the first things I want to figure out whenever I'm learning one of these new languages is, how can I leave notes for myself, right? So figuring out how to write a comment that is a piece of code that's just not executable, it doesn't bother the program, it's just there for my sake, so that I can organize things and just look at it and partition certain parts of the code. So to do that, we just use a single quote like that. And so let's start with see, doesn't do anything. We can refresh my diagram over there. I don't get anything because I don't actually have any code. Let me switch things here, because what I want is a simple state diagram. Yes, go ahead and replace it. And this shows some of the syntax for what we need. but it doesn't show everything. So first off, yes, we have this note, but I don't want this note showing up in the diagram, so I'm going to get rid of that. I also don't want this square bracket asterisk represents this the state right here, right? So the start and ending points there. I don't want that. That's not part of what I want. You can use that if that fits with what you're looking for. Refresh, we get that. Oh, here we go. We still have a connection to that. All right, so this is thinking that we have some class nodes there, which is not what we want. So state diagram. So first you want the title. So sure, what problem should we use here? Let's just say that let's model like a small graph of a few of the cities in the DC universe. Let's try that. So cities in DC universe. Cool. Change that. Okay. So I do this. I'm gonna show you something. So we could do something like state 0. 1 second. Right. So we could do something like state 0. State 0, just to define some states. State 1, and refresh. See, we get some empty states. Cool. The thing with this is that we can't really do like, let's say I want my state to be presented as something else, right? So the title of the state, I want that to be something different, something more presentable, something more readable than state 0. But maybe in the code, I want to keep it as state 0 because that's easier to reference around the place. So I don't do it this way. If I wanted to like make spaces in here, I'd have to use underscores. But you'll notice that if I do something like this, I don't think that's going to work. Whoa, there we go, syntax error. All right, cool. So what I do is I say state, and I'm going to call this state Central City as state 0. So I got myself Central City. And let's do state star city. I may get some of these wrong because I don't really know all of them. But we shall see. So refresh. Oh, right. I'm overriding that one right there. So we have star city. Let's do, I think there's something like a coast city. State 2. Fine. And let's do 2 more. What do we want this to be? Let's do Gotham. Shout out to New York City. Gotham, and let's do Metropolis. That's how it's spelled? Hell if I know. I think so. So, and let's change this to 3 and 4. Okay. So we just went ahead and created our states. Oh, that's the other thing. This website will sometimes jump on you. Let me bring that smaller. I don't know. It's too wide, but I'll fix that shortly. So what I want to say is, you know, let's say that your state needs some additional information on it, right? You may want to say, let's do the hero of the state, I mean the city. And this is where I'm going to start to get things wrong, things very wrong. So state 0 has, let's say, hero name, right? So you here you say what state you're talking about, and now you're just putting text in there, right? Everything that comes after here is just straight text, and it will be shown as such. So hero name, flash, right? We see that? There we go. And let's do this for Star City. State 1, hero name, arrow. State 2, hero name, name, no name. I don't know who's the hero of Coast City, if there even is one. State 3, hero name. This is Batman. And then state 4, hero name, Superman. Okay, so you'll notice that I'm not really explaining much about the particulars of the language so much, right? And this is kind of how I approach learning DSLs. I pick and choose exactly what I want, and I just do that. And I basically pattern match from the examples that I see in order to get what I need to get done. And that's exactly what I'm doing in this video, right? So just showing you how to define a state, give it an identifier, and label its type, give it a title, and how you can add properties onto that state. So we can get rid of this, and we can get rid of this. So this is one example of how we want to do state transitions, but the thing with that is that it seems as though for this render, it will, glass full won't be there anymore, so let's do state 0. And let's do glass empty state 1, right? So with 1 dash on that arrow, you'll notice that it just reaches over, right? Which is not really what we might want. What we might want is a tree, right? So top-down organization, and so using 2 dashes is better for that. So let's say that the start of this state diagram is Central City, and let's say from Central City you can get to Star City and Coast City. Okay, so let's do state 0. You can get to state 1, and state 0 you can get to state 2, right? And let's refresh, reorganized, nice, right? So there you can see that from Central City you can get to Star City and Coast City. You know, maybe you could get from Coast City to Star City just like that. This example does not respect the rules of the DC universe, or I should say the geography of the DC universe. So this is the enforcement of my policy over the citizens of DC. universe. So you start off in Central City and you can get to Star City, or you can get to Coast City. Now you may want to also label these transitions, right? Let's do another thing. So state 0, let's do, I'm gonna call this main hero instead, and do other hero, and we're gonna do vibe, right? Maybe it's the case that you want to send one of these heroes to a neighboring city, right? So Coast City, let's do main hero. Let's just say null instead of no name, because we understand null. Let's say it doesn't have a main hero, right? For a time, we may want to send, let's say we want to do a send hero procedure that will send the other hero from the parent state to the child state, right? And so with that, Coast City, we can say, you know, state 2 other hero would be vibe. So we started out in Central City with Flash and Vibe, and we sent Central City's other hero to Coast City. So now Coast City has an other hero of Vibe, right? So we can also do the same thing for here. We can send hero, and maybe we don't want to send a hero at all, right? So this is, just say this is your no op, right? And so we send nobody. Star City just has arrow. Oh, where's Star City? Hero. Cool. Now, from Star City, we may want to do something like send the arrow to Gotham for a little bit, right? So the only operation we can do here is send the main hero. So let's create a state. Let's reference the Gotham state. So actually, no, let's reference state 1. So state 1, we want to send somebody to state Gotham is 3, and we are going to send hero, main hero to state 3. And so that means that Gotham should have state 3 other hero arrow, right? And from Gotham, we may want to send its main hero to Metropolis. Who knows? You know, Superman is wilding, and so he needs to be put in his place. So Batman's gonna go out there and take care of business. You understand? All right. So let's do state 3 is going to transition to state 4, and we're going to send hero, main hero, and so state 4 will have other hero of Batman. Okay. So this just shows how, just a basic example of a state diagram that we can create using this DSL. Now, let's say that, so here we've shown that we have 3 operations that could be done. We could send a hero none to send no one. We could send a other hero, and we could send a main hero. But what if your city doesn't have a main hero, right? Like Coast City. And we may want to add another city. Let's call it, let's do state, and I'm really gonna, I don't, this is as far as my knowledge of cities inside DC go. Let's do DC as state 5. That's Washington, DC. And we want to send, so Coast City is state 2, and we want to send them to state 5, and we want to do a send hero of main hero, right? State 5. Let's annotate state 5 a bit. So state 5, and the caps here don't really matter. That's just what I did. All right, so let's do main hero, none, and that's it. DC is lawless, just like Coast City, or vigilante-less, I should say. In my setup. So this is obviously an invalid state transition because we can't send what you don't have, right? So maybe we want to mark this state as an invalid one, and so we could update this to be invalid if we want, right? We could leave the valid ones to be valid because they are valid, so let them be. Only differentiate what needs differentiating, right? So I just changed the title to say invalid. So all of these are red, and to me, red signifies not something you want in the context of computing usually, right? Red is a stop or an invalid state or a cautionary kind of action or a danger action indicator. So maybe we want to say that our valid states should look green, right? So here's how you can do a bit of inline coloring for your valid states. You could do BAM, right? Hashtag, and you could do green. And like that, you get green. Now you can change a little bit of the border. You could do bold on here, like that. See, did a little bold. And I think you can do dot or dotted, something like that. There we go, do a little dotted. Maybe you have something like a, I don't know, weak state or something. I don't care to do any of that style in here, so just put that in green right there, and I'm going to do that for our friends that are valid, right? And like that, we have our state transition. Now it would be cool if we could change these colors of our transition, the edges in our tree here. And I bet we can. And if this language is consistent, then it stands to reason that the same way that I applied color to the state would be the same way that I apply color to a state transition. All right, so let's do, here is a state transition. Send in main, it doesn't really matter, I just need to pick one. State transition, cool. Bring that down. And we should probably organize this a bit better. Do that. And let's do this. So if this language, this DSL is consistent. No, this is not happening. Do I need to quote something for this to happen? Yeah, so I have no idea how to turn that to green. And so I'll just leave that, right? But we may be able to find some stuff out by searching over this this website, PlantUML.com, and looking up the syntax that you want in order to style your state diagram. So I hope that was helpful. Subscribe, like, do all the things people on YouTube do, you know? Peace. Thanks for watching.